bunch of UK stuff as well. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah. All right. We are live. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Progress Report. We are we were on a brief break there for a little while, but we're back now. I have with me Jord, previously of Meth Squad fame.
Hello.
Hey, man, thanks for being here. Some of you may remember Jord from the Meth Squad. We had him on Sex Wars way back in the day. Well, what happened with that? You guys just packed it up, or?
Yeah, a couple years ago now, I guess life gets in the way. Like all the other Meth Squad members either have like moved or got real life jobs and stuff. And like, like the world kind of moved on. To be honest, I took a break from streaming myself for like close to 2 years, actually. I've just started recently a couple months ago. So.
Okay, cool. Yeah, well, I'm glad you're still making stuff, man. I genuinely watch your videos every now and then, or I'll be like lurking in the stream chat, not saying anything from time to time. And like, I hardly watch stuff anymore, but I really like your stuff. So I recommend people, if you're not familiar with Jord, check out his YouTube channel, check out some of his videos because he's got some good stuff out there. We're still waiting for Gifts Ungiven, who was a last minute addition here. She should be showing up soon. We were supposed to have Sarah Stock originally, as some of you probably know, and sorry to disappoint, but she had to cancel last minute. She let me know like 3 hours ago she couldn't make it. Oh, here we go. Here's Gifts now. And so Gifts Ungiven, who I've been trying to collab with for a while, she was gracious enough to join last minute, so we really appreciate her taking the time. How are you doing? Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm doing great. Nothing special, just an ordinary day. How are you guys doing?
Good, thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, do we just call you Gifts, or is that what you usually go with, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Every time I see you,
about the Ungiven.
I gotcha. Every time I see you, I think of their Gifts Ungiven. That's a Magic card. Although Magic the Gathering, I assume that's not where you took the name from, though, right? Because they take their names from like poems and stuff. It is the Magic card.
It is.
That's so funny. You play Magic?
Yeah, I mean, I dabbled a little bit, but I had that in a mind. So yeah.
All right,
pretty dorky.
Cool. Anyway, as I was saying, Sarah Stock, just so people know, the reason she canceled is she's supposed to be like doing an event at NYU tomorrow with Elijah Schaefer and Lucian Wintridge, I think his name is. And they started getting threats from like leftists who were going to come protest the event. I thought this whole Antifa protesting thing was over, but apparently not. And they were worried about security and trying to deal with that. And then I just saw a tweet from Elijah just from like 10 minutes ago that now NYU has canceled the event. Because I guess Elijah tweeted like armed security guards that he had hired. And NYU said that he was like inciting violence. And so now the whole event's canceled. But anyway, so she's dealing with that. That's the story there.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah, I didn't know it was canceled. So that literally just happened?
Yeah, that's breaking news. Yeah. Breaking. Anyway, the way this show works is I have a bunch of clips to show you guys. We'll then give our takes on it. Don't feel like you have to have a take on every single thing. Just if you want to talk, feel free. And if I'm playing a video and you want to jump in right away, just start talking and I'll pause the video. But here's the first one for you guys. Yeah, so
that's a Tesla. That's a Tesla, presumably.
It is, yeah. Of all the things you could choose to like start a vandalism campaign against, it's something very funny about choosing a car that is known for having cameras built in to like record this kind of thing. It's also
practically bulletproof as well. Like it's built to withstand a lot of trauma from people, and I don't know. It just seems like a weird. This is them venting their frustration because Elon is a Nazi, presumably.
Right. Right. And I mean, it's almost trite to say at this point, but it's like, it's this kind of moral narcissism. There's a famous C.S. Lewis quote. I won't try to say it from memory because I'd butcher it. But the idea is that like somebody who really believes that they're morally in the right is much more capable of tyranny than somebody who kind of knows that what they're doing is wrong. And I think I see that with the left a lot. And this is just another example to me. Like, obviously, like vandalizing people's private property is. And it's also ironic that a lot of the people who own Teslas, maybe not Cybertrucks, but Teslas in general, are like lefty environmental types or at least environmental types. So the whole thing is just sort of funny and weird to me.
Do you think most of the lefties have the environmentalist types? Do you think most of them have abandoned ship though at this point? Like, isn't it just right wingers that are getting those cars, which is kind of weird?
Yeah, I feel like they sold, right? They sold their Teslas. They didn't want to be associated with him as he became more kind of.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who's buying and owning Teslas these days. Personally, it's not. I wouldn't buy an electric vehicle. I just don't like the idea of electric vehicles.
Yeah, same. I can't stand. I don't like the concept.
Yeah, I don't like the concept. Like, I gotta charge my car. No thanks. I'll just stick with what I know. But
yeah.
Anyway, this was my favorite Tesla vandalism video and apparently this guy did it to like a bunch of trucks. And,
I mean, it almost seems like a skit. Like when I saw that clip, it just felt like it was a joke. Like, yeah. I don't know.
All right, let's see what else we got here. Okay, so a little bit of context. This is like a women's fencing event. And this lady, she's up against this person who is trans. And graphic violence alert. He's about to stab her through the heart with his rapier. Yeah. I'm just joking. She kneels down and refuses. Yeah, that would be brutal. No, that's not what happened. But she refused to fight him. The sound is kind of bad. I really shortened that clip down because the audio is so bad. But
I kind of love the little pump fake though. Like, I like the little fake out how she puts the mask on. She's like, "Okay, I'm ready to fight you." And it's like, "Psych, you're obviously a tranny." Like, it's kind of like there's something honorable about that. I mean, the whole thing fucking disgusts me. Obviously, the fact that we even got to the point where a man and a woman are having a sword fight and we're calling that sport, like, that's retarded.
It's sad.
But,
yeah.
And a part of me would have liked to have seen it though. I would have liked to have seen her win. But maybe that's just some sick, twisted part of my brain. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, like, maybe we should just let him at it. I can't imagine the transgender fencer is that good. Then again, when these gentlemen who pretend to be ladies start winning lots of awards, it's extremely frustrating, I imagine, for the athletes.
They usually always win, from what I've seen. Like,
there is that thing, isn't there, about men being biologically superior? I didn't want to say it, but like, yeah, obviously.
Men are just built differently. Men can't create babies with their bodies. I mean, that's a pretty cool thing to do. But it's also really cool to be able to like run really fast and be stronger than women. Like that. I mean, why doesn't everybody just kind of weigh it out? You have some good and I have some good, and let's be okay with it.
I'm totally against letting them compete. It's also like you're validating the whole delusion by even like putting that on the table. Like, yeah, maybe they should.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? Like I'm against the whole thing, just full stop. No validation from me, zero. But ironically, like a couple days ago, around the same time, there was a women's pool tournament. And in the finals, this just happened. It was two trans women. It was two dudes, two blokes in the finals of the women's pool tournament, and I mentioned this on my show the other day too, but it's like, it's not just physical differences. There's psychological differences with men and women as well. And men are like more willing to get hurt and to give it their all. So a good example that somebody mentioned when I was talking about this is that when women play football, they play flag football, even amongst themselves, right? They don't tackle each other. Women don't like violence the way men do. So there might be some other reason they play flag football. I don't know that much about it, but I imagine they just don't want to get hurt, basically. Whereas men are like that.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense because women's bodies are more fragile. So obviously we have things to protect. Men are like they're built to, go into combat. So yeah, that makes sense. I never really thought about the flag football thing, but I always remember in school always playing flag football. So is that not a thing that guys would do in schools? They would
No.
actually play football.
No, we play full contact out at recess with no gear. Yeah,
I have like injuries like still now that I sustained in high school playing rugby against like fully grown, what were basically fully grown men at the time. Like, yeah, no, I don't think so.
Oh wow, he's made another company that is single-handedly pushing humanity towards colon.
Don't you always?
Oh my God, not colonizing Mars. That's not happening, people. It's a marketing scheme.
Yeah.
Do you know how long it would take to colonize Mars? Do you know how long it would take to terraform that thing? It's a marketing scheme that everyone somehow fell for. This is my native language, I promise. That everyone somehow fell for, despite being like debunked by a Google search.
So that, for anybody who doesn't know, that's Elon Musk's son, who he said is dead. He said that my son's dead because the son is trans. Well, when he was talking to Jordan Peterson, he said like the left killed my son or something like that. And talking to Hassan Piker, I'm sure we all know Hassan. And it was just like their whole stream was just like a 2-hour Elon hate fest. Like, I think something happened where Hassan replied to, or Elon like replied to a Hassan tweet. And so then Hassan was like, let me get your trans daughter. I never know what to say. Your son, basically. I'll just say that.
Yeah, don't give it to him. Like
you're right. Don't. I because of YouTube, I'm always a little bit like, oh, but yeah, you're right. His son. Let me get your son on here, and we'll just trash talk you for like 2 hours. So.
Yeah, I kind of have a controversial opinion about this.
Oh yeah, sweet.
Well, obviously his son being trans is a bad thing, but he kind of invited that upon himself. And I guess we all make mistakes, but he did, according to, from what I know about the situation, he actually signed his son over to be medically shifted and changed into a girl. So, I mean, imagine what that would do to his son. Like, obviously that would build resentment. And I guess the point is I kind of get where like the animosity could potentially be coming from, even though a lot of what he's saying isn't warranted. But then again, I do also kind of agree with what he's saying in the clip. I do think that Elon is actually kind of overhyped. I know that's controversial to say because a lot of people like Elon, and I still do. I mean, everything that's going on with X, we all have way more freedom to speak than we used to. But I mean, he does kind of make a good point that a lot of the things that Elon is doing, they are built around like a marketing campaign more than people are willing to give
1,000%. Yeah, 1,000%.
You agree with that?
Yeah, no, I don't think that's controversial. Nothing you said is controversial as far as I'm concerned.
I have been and remain intensely distrustful of Elon Musk. I don't think he's our guy by any stretch. Look, it's nice to have like one autistic billionaire who's like vaguely right wing and supports free speech and stuff. Like that is good, and I'd be lying if I said that wasn't a net positive. But it's also it's this thing of like he's a marketer first and foremost. Even the products he shills, like the electric car was already there, the flamethrower was already there, digging tunnels in the ground was already there. The projects you want to watch, the ones for the future, like less so SpaceX and X, but more like Neuralink and all these other fucking demonic, diabolical things that are coming down the pipeline. Yeah, I mean, excuse me for just not trusting that guy. And then the dog whistling and the throwing up Romans, like half-arsing the Roman as well. Like either do it or don't do it, dude. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Well said. And his son, I mean, I honestly kind of think it's crappy that he said his son is dead, and he kind of used his son to kind of make a political point and gain advantage. Maybe he wasn't, but it kind of feels like he was doing that. And his son's condition is his fault, by choosing the women he chose to marry or whatever. And
he doesn't marry them. That's the thing. Like he just has like a harem of breeder concubines, basically.
Okay, and I'm just going to say it as well. They're all Jewish. Like at least half of them are Jewish. Like
right? They are. Yeah. So
I don't
but
think you can have that many partners and that many kids and still remain a good dad. Like, I don't know if that's a hot take. I know that goes very much against the kind of Tatian, like have a harem of women kind of thing. But like I don't think it's possible to father that many children and be present in their lives. Don't be surprised if some of them turn out to be troons. Like, I don't know what you know.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of his private lifestyle at all. But I'll say this in his defense is that I think when it comes to what he was saying to Jordan Peterson and like just his like war with the left, I think this is what I'd like to think. I don't know exactly, but I'd like to think that like he made that mistake you talked about. He signed over the rights. He probably thought he was doing the right thing at the time. It's kind of understandable. I wouldn't ever do it, but I'm based. He wasn't at the time. So you can kind of understand falling for all that propaganda and pressure and everything. And then I think he's realized his mistake since, and he's trying to correct it by just going to war like against the ideology and like stopping it from happening to other people. And I think, I don't know, again, I don't know exactly if that's true or not, but that could be.
I suppose that's a good, I mean, that's a positive way to look at it, but just considering that everybody always says that he's a genius, like what kind of genius, you know? Like,
he's pretty smart. He's pretty smart.
He's
obviously
smart, but I mean, how do you let that happen to your son? It's just
no, but really,
that's more of a courage issue than a.
Is he Henry Ford? Like, does he have that level that level of genius that's like going to change the world? I don't know if he does. Man. Like,
I don't hate Elon, but I think a lot of the hype behind him, it needs to come down a little.
Fair.
Have a quick look at this story actually about Nick Fuentes, who's got an interesting theory about the origin of vampires. Let's get into it.
Think about all the tropes about vampires. They're afraid of crosses. They're from Eastern Europe. They're very pale. They suck blood. You know, they drink blood. Like, so the vampires, the myth of the vampire does come from Ashkenazi Jews. And anyway, and the rituals they used to perform, which is historically accurate.
Isaac, what have you got to say about that?
Nah, he's crazy, man.
Do you think
Ashkenazi Jews, okay.
Well, I once had one of those gene tests done where you get all your chromosomes looked at. Have you ever had that done? Like, I got what type of Jew I got in me is they told me I had some of that one. And then aren't they the cleverest ones?
Well, I'm Sephardic. So I'm Middle Eastern Jew. Well, both, but mainly
they're all Jews.
Sephardic.
What the?
Right. And so what's the? What I don't mean to sound anti-Semitic, but what's the difference, and why are you in charge of Hollywood?
So the difference mainly is that Ashkenazi Jews, after basically exile from Israel and everything, those are the Jews that ended up in the diaspora in like the European area, and the Sephardic and Mizrahi are like more like in the like Mediterranean and like Middle Eastern side.
So it's the distinction that's based on geography subsequent to the diaspora rather than any theological or doctrinal
Pretty
beliefs.
much. There's a few differences in terms of like for like Passover, which is coming up, like what we can and can't eat. So like pretty sure Sephardics like we can eat rice and the Ashkenazis like can't. So that's like one of the things.
I noticed that you didn't cover how you got in control of Hollywood, so we'll just assume that that's another one of them conspiracy theories that we're going to just have to unpack over the course of the show.
All right, I have my 2 cents on that clip. If you guys got anything you want to go,
no, please,
you go. So much to say. You go first.
Okay, well, my 2 cents is Russell Brand was just charged in the UK with rape. To my knowledge, he has never talked about Nick Fuentes previously. Maybe that he has. I don't obviously pay that much attention to Russell Brand, but that it came across to me as like, oh, I need to like show that I'm on the right side of these things, right? So let me make a big joke out of anti-Semitism, make jokes about Jews running Hollywood like it's this hilarious, silly idea, ha ha ha. And it just came across to me, the timing of it came across as like, please don't put me in jail for a rape from 10 years ago.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, I think Nick was right. I actually wanted to make a video about that, being Romanian myself.
It all tracks. it all adds up, doesn't it?
The trope is 100% real. Yeah, 100. Look, LP, you know, for example, I am 1/8 vampire myself, right? Like from Poland. Like
wait, 1/8? It's going up. I thought it was 1/10.
Well, yeah, it's like 10%, but that's roughly an eighth. One gram.
I didn't know it was 1/8. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry for having.
Sometimes I get a notification. It's like we have updated your ancestry, and I'm like, oh fuck. I gotta check. I'm like, please don't be any more Jewish.
Oh, Jord, you need to find a nice 100% European girl and you got to get bleached. Yeah.
But the thing is, the only good thing about having like partial Jewish ancestry is that people are pleasantly surprised when you don't try and fuck them over immediately. So it's like from my like limited perspective of, obviously I was looking into this stuff being a bit Jewy myself since I was a little kid. The red pill for me was never realizing that like vampires exist or that they run the world. The red pill for me was working out that nobody else knew that, and like it took a while for everyone else to kind of catch up. So the trope is real. He's obviously giving Nick shit because it's politically expedient to do so. I kind of saw it the same way you did, although I kind of thought it was more of a like wink wink nudge nudge to appeal to his like Christian base of like, I get it too. I also know that the Jews run Hollywood kind of thing. That's what it feels like. It isn't that who he's been trying to appeal to.
It's interesting you say that, because I have noticed, you see this with Steven Crowder and some of these people, you see them sort of do, like you say, the sort of nudge, like, hey, I know what's going on. I'm not going to just like go 1488 or whatever, but I think that's, you could be right there too. Cause I think the audience,
reel people in.
Yeah, the audience, like, people know what's going on, and they're more based. They don't want to hear like the same old goy slop about what like vaccines and trans people. That's all like old news. So the audience wants that, and they're being pulled in that direction by the audience. I think that's true. Yeah.
And just to go a slight like layer deeper with regards to Russell himself, I mean, like, I'm from a similar part of England to Russell, hence the similar phenotype and ancestry. It's like he got to where he got to by knowing and dealing with some very nefarious people. I don't know if you're familiar with the Jimmy Savile scandal and saga in the UK, but yeah, Russell Brand and Jimmy Savile, very close friends until Jimmy Savile's death, which is just like, yeah, there's some stuff you need to look into. The Katy Perry marriage, I mean, if you believe in some kind of Hollywood shadow network, Russell Brand is the #1 beneficiary of it, just being real. So.
Well, I wanted to say one quick thing about the Ashkenazi Jew thing that the guy behind the camera or whatever was saying. Yeah, it's kind of interesting because Jews like to attach themselves to the Jewish diaspora during the times of ancient Israel to themselves, them being the original people from that region. But I think it's, I don't know, there's some really interesting mystery going on there with the people who actually traveled up into the Black Sea region. It's not clear cut. It's not as clear cut as they're trying to make it.
Definitely. I'm so glad you said that. That's so real.
Yeah, because it's complicated, because a lot of the people that got thrown up into that region, I mean, they weren't. It's complicated because what happened in ancient Israel, and the whole reason why the Jesus movement happened, is because there was racial discord, because they had other tribes that were not, in my opinion, white. I know that a lot of people think that's kind of a weird position to take, that the Israelites might have been white. But in any case, in short, what I'm trying to say is that the people that followed a lot of Israelites up into Europe were people who were more Arab. And this is actually, if you take some time to look into this, they have a genetic makeup that's Arab. So the people,
you can see it in the DNA. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah. And so the people that followed these people up into Europe, there is a case to be made that they were not, they were the people that the Israelites and the Judeans were actually like butting heads with, because they were being conquered by them. It's a complicated history, but he's not exactly right in what he's saying there. It's a bit more complicated than he's giving it credit for.
Yeah. I have a book, I haven't read it yet, that kind of goes into that, and I'm planning to read it soon, because that is a very interesting topic.
What is it? What's the book?
It's called The Heirs of Abram. I don't know, some guy sent it to me who wrote it. The guy who wrote it, he's like, hey man, I'm going to send you this book. And it's mostly like arguing from scripture, so it's not like a lot of like historical. I think he uses scriptures, but I haven't read it yet, so I don't know that much about it. I did want to say,
think about Well, and think about what the guy is saying in the clip. I mean, sorry, what Nick is saying in the clip. Vampires latch onto like mythically they're sucking blood, but what does that represent if it's like tied to reality? There aren't vampires, but what a vampire is somebody that latches themselves onto maybe a lineage or something. They're royalty and they want to get into the bloodline, and so they usurp and come in and try to get in that way. And a lot of the European lore around vampires seems to be about that very subject matter. It's not just like normal people getting their blood sucked. It does seem like it's more like a European lineage being corrupted type of thing potentially. So, and yeah, based off of the history of like the ancient Israelites and the people that went up into the Black Sea, which he was speaking to, they would have been dealing with those issues. So I don't know. It's an interesting theory. There's a lot to it. But...
It is. It's also.
Sorry, I interrupted.
No, it's okay. But I was going to say, and then we'll move on. There's like a meme that's been going around because this keeps happening where like they'll say the goblins in Harry Potter are Jews or whatever. Like anytime you have like a mythical monster, the Jews are always like,
wait. The
like,
Harry
that's
Potter
us.
thing is doubly funny because the Harry Potter what is it called? The bank is called like Gringotts Bank, right? In Harry Potter, they filmed the movie in an actual bank. It actually had a giant Star of David
on the floor. Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you can't write this shit.
And they kind of look Jewy, like the phenotype of.
No, they do. They do. You can see it, but they do that with everything is kind of the meme, right? And it's maybe they're sensitive because they know vampires were part of it. And they're like, hey, stop putting us as the villains.
These ideas exist for a reason. I don't think these myths are completely like made up.
All right. Well, let's move on before we get a hate speech strike here.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Should the defense secretary?
What country are you? Wait, what country are you from?
The UK.
Okay, we don't give a crap about your opinion and your reporting. Why don't you go back to your country where you have a major migrant problem?
Yeah, America, fuck yeah, baby. How do you feel about that one, Jord?
No, she's 100% right. Like, listen, I don't like her personally. She kind of comes across as like she's too dumb. I know I wouldn't vibe with her like on a one-to-one. Like, we couldn't get drunk together. But there is definitely room in the American psyche for this kind of like unhinged, drunk wine mom who's just racist and just like doesn't give a fuck. And I like her like for that. I like everything she's saying is fucking real. We do have a migrant crisis. England is in no position to lecture America. I fucking wish you guys would send. Actually, going to kick my door in for saying this. I wish you guys would send the Marines over and liberate us from our current fucking situation. Just being real about it.
We got to bring democracy to the UK. I love how it's like as soon as she hears the accent, it's instant. She's like you, and then she's like, wait, what the fuck, limey? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about her. I just remember Nick attacking her, and it seemed pretty justified. So.
Well, she was at his conference. She went to AFPAC 3 and did like a speaking, and then she got so much shit for that she turned around and said that, oh, he's a horrible. I didn't know. I didn't know. He's terrible. He's the worst person. That thing. Yeah, that's my understanding of what happened. Yeah. Anyway, let's see what else we got here.
Talking shit about women who make corn. Okay, stop talking shit about women who work in that industry because for one, women see you do that and they respect you less. They want to be with you less, right? And for two, these are some of the most intelligent, business savvy, and socially conscious people that I've ever personally met in my life. Genuinely. You think that they're in the industry because they want male attention, but the truth is they're so hot that they were going to get the male attention anyway, and they figured out how to monetize it, right? They figured out how to get the bag. These are women that deserve our respect.
What's the other phone?
He seems like a sensitive soul.
Yeah. I mean, like before.
He's totally right, guys.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, obviously he's a simp. I mean,
yeah.
Maybe that's kind of mean. Like maybe he is actually.
No, he's a massive simp and a coomer. This guy loves his porn.
I don't trust guys like that. Like the moment a guy starts talking like that, there's like a fine line between dealing with like people who are just unnecessarily being hateful towards women, which is a thing, but mean, it's just simping. It just feels like you can't trust somebody who talks to you like that because you know they're just trying to get into your pants or something. It's not genuine. Like, why does he care so much? You know what I mean?
Really. I mean, my only 2 cents on this is that he implies that like all women will respect you less if you're not like pro porn. And this is you got a similar thing with the abortion debate. Like, oh, if you don't support abortion rights, then all women will hate. And it's like, it's really like fairly split down the middle with women, or at least with white women. Where
hold a second. He was saying corn. I literally thought he was talking about the corn industry.
Yeah, no, that's like that. They so censor themselves. So don't you hate that, Jord?
Oh my god, I thought that
you just hate it with the corn industry. Just like, wow, okay.
Okay, all right, wait. I was joking because I thought he was just being a simp, but now, no. Okay, that changes everything. Scratch everything I said, all the jokes. He's talking about.
Yeah, he's talking about porn. Yeah, yeah. I hate that like self-censor thing. People, you see it on Twitter all the time. People like put like kill, but there's like an asterisk where the I should be, and I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing?
Wait, that's insane. How can he defend them?
Yeah, you're like, Flo, you thought he was like simping for corn? Why? Gifts, like, all due respect, but why would he be talking like the corn industry?
He's obviously a simp. Nobody cares that much about women in the corn industry.
If farmers with his women farming out.
I love it. So innocent.
Oh, man. I don't know where you stand on the LP, but like I try not to get on my high horse about porn, especially in these kind of circles. Like porn is one of the biggest things holding us back as like a block of like young white men, basically, because it obviously reduces people's libido and their drive and their ambition. And it's like, but everybody masturbates. A lot of people watch porn. Many people have problems with pornography, and a lot of people in these circles like to pretend like it doesn't exist. Here's the thing, guys like this, like he's, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, but in my opinion, he is worse than like Bonnie Blue and Lily Phillips and any OnlyFans thought that you can name. And the guys who back it are worse than it, if that makes sense. Like porn is almost like a symptom of fucked up economy and BlackRock owning all the fucking houses. But the guys who buy it are much worse morally to me than the women who engage in it. I do have to say that. I don't know whether people consider that simping or not, but I really do feel that way.
I feel like they're kind of equally guilty. I'm totally anti-porn. I browbeat my audience constantly, say you guys can't be watching porn, stop watching
But
porn.
You can do that because you're not a hypocrite, right? Like you're consistent about it. Like I would feel too hypocritical saying that to people.
No, I don't even masturbate anymore. If you want to know that, not to get too personal.
Actually based. Like that's really, really good. But when you look at so we say the dis right or whatever you want to call it, like as a block of people, they be fapping or wanking or whatever you want to call it, right? And it's keeping them suppressed. Like not just, and I know this is going to sound very woo and whatever, but not just like physically or like emotionally or biochemically, but like spiritually, it's keeping them suppressed. It's keeping them in this state of like psychological cuckoldry. So like maybe it is good that you browbeat your audience like at the end of the day.
It's like you're brain fucked, man. When you're a coomer, you're in a brain fog that you don't even know you're in when you're in it. Like I'll be on Twitter and I'll sometimes see porn right on Twitter because it's just there, and I have like a immediate disgust reaction, which I think is like the healthy reaction to have, right? Like that's how you're supposed to feel when you see some naked woman like flashing her pussy at you on the internet. But
Twitter is insane. Yeah, it'll just be there'll be some like stock market news story, and then 3 posts underneath it will be some go like, check out my OnlyFans with a vagina hanging out, like brutal. Like Twitter is insane. Yeah, it's like a new Weimar level of like I don't know how you describe it.
But yeah, it totally saps your energy, obviously, for men, especially obviously young men. They're playing video games, so they're getting this reward for doing something that they're not actually doing and developing skills that they're not actually doing. And then at the end of the day, they get like a simulation of sex through watching pornography. Like no wonder why men are not doing the things that they're supposed to be doing and they're not motivated. It makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
And I think a lot of like right-wing influencers or like guys who have like, who post, who like make internet content are really, really, they don't like to talk about it. Like it's taboo amongst guys to like say, it's better to pretend it doesn't exist, which I think is the wrong approach because so many guys are trapped in a cycle of like addiction, what is basically addiction to pornography. It's weird how it rewires your brain and shit.
So the point that I always make to people, and I think this is just to me, this is just so obvious, is you are not husband material if you are watching pornography. If you want to be a husband at some point, if you want to get married, you shouldn't be waiting until you're married to say, okay, I'm not going to watch porn anymore, because it might be harder to stop than you think. So you should stop right now. And if you are a single guy who watches porn, you cannot say, oh, modern women are so terrible, I can't find a wife because they're all like whores with a high body count or whatever. That may be true, but you are not husband material because husbands don't watch porn, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, let's see what else we got here.
And they figured out how to monetize it, right? They figured out how to get the bag. These are women.
Kanye is friends with him unless they're both influenced by the devil. Nick Fuentes is what I would consider to be a fake right-wing Christian who's a racist. And all the people who follow him are racist. Not all of them, but I think a lot of them do. He got a little group called the Groupers, and they're incredibly racist. And if you listen to these idiots long enough, they would try to convince you that America is better when it's white. No, America is better when you live the American dream and you have the American idea in your heart and you assimilate to that theology. That's when America is better. Whether you black, green, immigrant, white, you name it, you apply that, you will live an American dream or you'll live a great experience in America. Nobody can act like white people are that great because the stupidest people in the world right now are white liberals. The absolute worst. And the reason I say that is because they've been given this much success and opportunity and freedom, and they want to throw it all away to virtue signal.
Given by who? Exactly. Dude, I really hate the like white liberals are so bad. And usually they say women. This a lot of time they'll say, oh, the worst people are white liberal women. They're ruining it. I ban people now from my comment section who say that shit. I like, get away from me with your anti-white propaganda. White women voted for Trump more than like any other racial class of women. Yeah. Stop trying to pretend like they're the most insane progressive people. There's the best women you're going to meet are white women, frankly. So I won't have that kind of slander. And I don't know what he's talking about. Like they were given everything. Given by who? What does that mean? What do you mean they were given wealth or whatever he said and then they throw it away? What's he even talking about?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. What is he saying?
The thing about theology is that I don't subscribe to that theology, and his side's like, I don't care if you're green or you're an immigrant. It's like, yeah, it's all nice. It's just platitudes, isn't it, really, at the end of the day? I mean, I don't know if you, Gibbs, I know you probably have a different take on the whole Kanye Nick thing, but like, I fucking love what Kanye West is doing right now. I am like #1 Kanye fan at the moment, like, even if it's semi-ironic.
I think he might be using Nick in a way.
Because like, that's so interesting.
So like, I mean, we don't have to get into it right now, but yeah, I do think that Nick, you could make a case that Nick is being used as being a white nationalist, perceivably so by people on the right wing. He kind of represents like the most extreme position in most people's eyes. Mm-hmm. Taking that person and then, wearing the swastika next to them and then having his, white girlfriend or whatever in a Ku Klux Klan outfit, kind of looks like he's like owning her and he's like, yeah, screw you, supremacist. Yeah. I'm screwing this white lady. Like he obviously doesn't really seem to care about her, and he's posting pornography, like black pornography, and then mixed in with Black Panther rallies and stuff like that, and his latest music video or whatever. I mean, it kind of feels like he's making fun all of us. And I mean, that's what Kanye does. Kanye is that he's like this low key, has low key energy. It's let's go out and make fun of everything and tarnish everything. I almost kind of feel like he's kind of doing that to us with Nick potentially. I mean, it is kind of cool. Like you could say it's kind of punk, but I mean, it was more punk when he and Kanye did it the first time. Like that was actually like that actually shifted the Overton window, and that was awesome.
The
But
Alex Jones moment, you mean? Like, yeah.
And he was coming, Ye was coming at it from more of a Christian angle the first time around. That made it a lot more palatable.
And he's proven not to be. No, that's an excellent point. It's like we could have given him the benefit of the doubt at the time that he had changed, and Nick was helping him come over to like a more conservative Christian position. But why are we granting that to the guy that he literally said that he wanted to start a porn company? But he's just joking. Well, I mean, he literally spawned interracial porn to all of Twitter. Like that doesn't mean nothing.
Now I feel I'm in this weird position where I don't agree with. I agree with everything you just said, and I still feel obligated to defend Kanye. It's awful. It's like, okay, look, this is how I'd caveat it. What I'm trying to say at least. Nick and Kanye. Nick would hate this because he sees himself very much as like a future Führer of America in waiting, right? But like Nick and Kanye are artists, whether you want to see them this way or not, right? And it's like for artistic people to push the envelope and be schizo and be retarded and be whatever. Like I just like it because I think it's like shock troops against the Overton window, pushing the Overton window.
I couldn't agree more. I'm just saying, listen, I'm just saying that you're right, but I don't think it's as cool. And the next time they do it, it will be less cool.
Yeah,
and
it's losing its cool factor. There's a half-life on the cool factor. I agree. Yeah, that's a fact.
That's
and then it's also like, why? Like that's going to be the next question. Is like, why is he holding the swastika? What does that mean?
I do. I enjoy some of the antics. He put out that song. He's like, "How am I acting like Hitler when I'm a fucking nigger?"
Some of those songs are bangers. I'm just kidding. That album is full anti-Semitism is gonna be fire. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think it. I heard it and I didn't. I've listened to Kanye and I even liked some of his albums in the past.
It's not his best music. It is.
It's really.
Yeah,
you're
right.
Great. It's just kind of like whatever. I like Whoopity Scoop better.
It's just the fact that anybody would say that in a song who's as big as him is. I guess that's the whole thing, right? It's like
right.
Attention, like it's like look at me. I'm not getting the attention that I used to get, and I guess to a degree it's interesting. But I mean, the guy. Well, I'll say this last thing, and I'll stop rambling about it. The guy clearly is a black supremacist. He is like if you look at like the things he said in the past, the Black Panther footage, he does not give a crap about white people. He literally said F white people, Jews and white women are controlling black people in the black community. So it's just kind of ironic and funny that a bunch of white people, conservative Christians, are like, yeah, let's get behind this black guy. And it's like, all right, no thanks.
At the end of the day, there's not really such thing as a base black guy. Although, if there is, it may be the black supremacists if they are separatists, right? Because you got people. You have people like this guy, right? Brandon Tatum, who's like one of these TPUSA right-wing base black dudes, and we just listened to him kvetch about racism for like 2 minutes straight. How racism is this awful thing, and you're not a conservative if you're racist, and it's like, well, we're never going to get past the racial issue if we have to listen to people like that who are, let's be honest, scared of losing access to white people and white nations, right? So if there is such a thing as a base black guy, it's the guy who is like, I'm a black supremacist, I want a black country, I don't want to live with white people. That's as good as it gets, right?
Yeah.
And also, I do think we do have to remember, again, this is like art. Even the stuff Nick says, it's like, with Kanye, I wouldn't take him seriously or politically in any sense, but the same, unfortunately, I would say is true for Nick. Like, in terms of being a comedian, a showman, a funny guy, he's fucking hilarious. Nick is so charismatic and funny, but it's just like, can we be real for a fucking minute, for like a quick minute? I don't know.
Well, yeah, that was the thing with Nick is that I remember he wanted to do the America First movement. And like back in the day, I was like, oh man, that's cool. He seems like a young man that could, pull that off. I'm behind him. But slowly over time, you kind of learn, okay, well, you can't be a jokester. You can't be like this wild entertainer that's saying a bunch of different things, and no consistency, and then be like a leader of some sort. So I think exactly what you said is correct. Nick is an excellent entertainer. Like there's absolutely no doubt about that. But is he a serious person? Not really.
They want to throw it all away to virtue signal.
And I also want to talk about the connection of pornography to transgenderism. But I want to talk about this from the young female perspective, which is kind of the opposite. The pornography of today that many children are being exposed to, it's not like accidentally finding like your dad's Playboy magazine. This is hardcore, often violence, and even heavily sexist imagery and videos that little boys and girls are being exposed to. And a lot of the young women in here today can attest to this, that it's one of the many things that made us want to escape from our femininity.
All right, so I just thought this was interesting. This is Chloe. I forget her last name. Sorry, but she transitioned to male at a young age, and then she detransitioned and is kind of like a activist for detransitioning or just anti-transgender activist. And she's saying here that one of the reasons she wanted to transition to a man was because porn kind of made her scared to be a woman, which makes perfect sense to me. When you're talking about super young people being exposed to this stuff, young girls,
like from a Jungian, like Freudian, like perspective, that's so fucking deep and weird and interesting.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
Do you mean that like she watched porn as a young woman and decided that like because so much of the porn is violent or aggressive or like the man is so obviously like in charge, she didn't like that dynamic and was like, if I'm going to be one of the two people in this arrangement, I'm going to be the guy, kind of a penis MV times 1000, and then fully that's so. You know what's funny? I think it works in a similar way the other way around, right? I think if guys watch porn too much,
they want to be the woman. Yeah.
There's an autogynophilia that comes from like 100%.
What? Because like to me, like when I'm listening to this, I'm like, what is she talking about? Like that can't be real. So
all of this, as far as I can tell, all of this comes down to what age you are subjected to this stuff at. Because if you hit it in adolescence or post-adolescence, your brain is kind of wired up in a way to be able to deal with it more healthily. If you're exposed to it as a child, it fucks the wiring of your brain, right? I really fundamentally believe that like a 6-year-old is not supposed to watch hardcore pornography.
Controversial, but I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, so it's just like on a biological neurochemical level, like people are going to see these things, experience them viscerally, because like let's be honest, your subconscious brain does not know the difference between porn and a video and real life.
Well, I have something to add. That's a good point, because the furry thing, like furries and people really into.
I don't know what the fuck that's about. That's another level. Yeah.
Well, think about it. If you apply what you're saying to like furries and like people who are super into like anime and they like to sexualize anime girls and whatnot, it's probably because they saw like porn that had characters in it, or they liked a character in an anime. And it became so real to them, and it maybe they were even sexualized, and they sexualized them. That they have.
I hate to be too like 1/8 about it, but like a lot of what Freud said was like we've come to understand it as being like obvious now, but at his time it was like absolutely revolutionary. The idea that like we form our like imprints at a young age, like even the feet thing, right? Like a lot of guys have foot fetishes. There's like whole websites dedicated to people selling feet pics. That apparently that develops if the person is first exposed to nudity at the same time as they see like a naked pair of feet. Like and that just like sets something off in the head that that wires them wrong, and then they spend the rest of their life.
Maybe they're just mentally ill. Like maybe some people's sexuality.
All of this is different strands of mental illness, obviously. Like this is all different types of mental. But like,
yeah, I don't know. Freud sucks anyway.
Yeah, Freud does. I don't know about all that.
You're much better than
stuff,
Freud. I agree.
But I just so I'm like against people watching porn. But when I think about the average age that people are exposed to it. I think it's 11 years old is the number you'll get if you Google it. They say, but like people like 8-year-olds are watching hardcore porn on the, and I just like, when I think about that, I want to like not just make it illegal, but like punishable by death to produce porn.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I feel about it, if I'm being real.
Yeah.
And it's so insane that we allow this to continue, that we just allow it to be so accessible. You know, I know a lot of people don't think it should be banned. They're wrong. But the idea that it's controversial to say, well, you should have to verify your ID, your age in a real way. You should have to put in a credit card if you want to watch porn on the internet. And people are like, whoa, buddy, what about my privacy rights? I don't want people knowing what I goon to. And it's like, dude, nobody cares what you fucking goon to. Nobody wants to know, but kids are watching this shit, dude. That's a problem. Anyway.
Escape from our femininity.
Like that can I talk about it?
I don't know what you're going to say,
Yeah,
but go for it.
I created a video. I made a video and recorded a video responding of Dennis Prager, and I didn't publish it. Yeah,
comment?
the porn stuff. Yeah, and it was just him and his wife, like talking back and forth, like a fireside chat between him and his wife.
That would be excellent.
And it was super good, but it came off anti-Semitic, and I didn't want to post it because I didn't want. He's Jewish.
Why did you have to bring that into it, though?
You always have to bring it in.
Always bring in the Jews.
But I was like, I don't want to give this a platform if it does turn into that dark world of anti-Semitism. I'm like, nope, not even giving it a thing.
So I don't know if you guys know, but Dennis Prager, who runs PragerU, and I guess he's not doing so good health-wise these days, but regardless, he's Jewish, and there was like a couple of clips of him where he was saying how like it's, you know, he doesn't think it's a sin to watch porn, including like lollies, which is like anime children, right? There's a famous clip of Dennis Prager saying that like, I don't think there's anything wrong with gooning to drawings of children, which is...
I know Dennis Prager didn't use the word gooning. What do you
No, he didn't say gooning. He said masturbating or whatever, pleasuring yourself.
He genuinely doesn't see a moral.
That's such an insane thing to say, right? And apparently he like rolled it back later. Somebody told me. I didn't actually see that, but I guess he walked it back because probably a lot of people were really upset with that. And then this chick was saying, I don't know who these people are, but she's saying that she did a video where she was criticizing him, but then she decided not to publish it because she didn't want to get anti-Semites like rallying to her or something like that.
That's a dumb decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Prager's a powerful guy though, in that kind of like neocon Christian right kind of like spam. I mean, I can imagine if you comment about him, a bunch of bots pop up and start calling you like a Nazi. I can imagine that's quite real what she's talking about. But it's just like it's funny how even these kind of people are noticing at this point. Isn't this like a religious podcast, like Pints with Aquinas or something?
Yeah, I don't know actually. I think it is. I think this like maybe the reason this came up on my Twitter feed is something to do with this Trent Horn guy who I don't know who that is, but Nick is like beefing with him right now. I think that might be the guy's wife. I don't know, man. I know.
I think so too.
I'm an awesome host. I'm really informed on the shit I'm playing. I know. But so yeah, it probably is like a Christian thing. I'm not sure if I agree with your read. I think the way I've watched the clip a couple times, but the way I interpret it is she's worried about putting out this criticism of Dennis Prager, not because like bots were going to call her anti-Semitic or that people would call her. I think she was worried about attracting anti-Semites and having them come in the comment and making it, toxic or whatever you want to say, which I sort of understand when you're in that normie mindset. I understand like kind of having that apprehension. Not saying it's right, but I get it.
But you think the alarm bells would be going off in her head? Like maybe that means that there's something real here.
Yeah, hopefully.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it takes a little bit of time, but hopefully she gets there.
I know and Trent is Jewish, so I'm like, no,
Trent
I
is
can't
Jewish.
do that.
Wait,
So,
okay, so hold on.
Go.
Right, so Trent Horn is Jewish. I don't know who this guy is. I know nothing about him. There's some kind of beef going on. I don't know.
And from Tuesday, this is what will happen. Judges will prepare pre-sentencing reports where necessary, and if someone is of ethnic, cultural or faith minority, or a young person under 25, or a woman or a pregnant woman, they will get a special sentencing report. Normally those pre-sentencing reports do mean that the sentence is mitigated, that time is taken off for a jail term, for example. What it means, though, is that white men are going to be treated a lot tougher by judges from Tuesday compared to other groups in society.
Okay, Jord, our correspondent on the ground. What's going on over there, bro?
Dude, I want to be not your correspondent on the ground. I want to be as far fucking away from this country as possible. And I know that's not very patriotic and nationalistic of me, but like we are a minority in our own country now, or at least in the city where I'm in. This is all real. This is two-tier justice. This is two-tier policing. Just to give people a tangible example, if I get caught selling cocaine on the streets of London, I'm going to prison for 14 years, as I believe is correct. Like, I don't think anybody should be selling cocaine on the streets of London. However, if Jerome and Jamal that get caught with the exact same amount of cocaine doing the exact same thing, they're going to prison for 7, and they'll probably be out in 3. It's a complete inversion of justice if you look at who is actually committing the crime and who is actually doing so. I mean, it's a terrifying place to live at the moment, man. I'm not gonna lie.
It is, and probably this has been happening unofficially for a while already. Maybe not necessarily like, well, but just like sending people to jail for Facebook memes and shit like that. Like, it's mostly white people who are getting hit with those.
100%. They were working off quotas for that stuff initially, and it's all ramped up recently. There's been you can tell, a big coordinated PR campaign to the point of them releasing like Adolescents on Netflix, trying to convince you that like white incels are the ones doing knife crime. Like it's, it's absolutely crazy. I think this is an attempt to silence the last of what is like a vocal minority in the urban centers, and it's working from what I can see. People are absolutely shit scared of God. They arrested a woman last month. I want to get this right. 65-year-old woman for telling a politician to resign on X. They knocked her door in. They nothing racial, nothing bigoted, nothing homophobic, xenophobic, whatever. They kicked her door in, like morning raid.
Was the politician white?
No, of course there was some ethnic minority, so it was perceived as a hate crime.
You can't do that.
Telling them to resign is the point where we're at now. It's just beyond Orwell. Like Orwell would be like shitting himself. Like honestly.
Yeah, I'd be scared if I was you, man. I'm glad I got out of Canada, because Canada's not as bad when it comes to the free speech. They're not as bad as the UK, but they have a similar 2-tier system where it's like Native Americans are supposed to get lesser sentences. And it's this whole thing of like, oh, they commit crime because we oppressed them forever. And so now we have to like fix this by not punishing them for their crime. It's the most like insane, just prog brain retard shit lib idea that obviously isn't going to help the issue at all.
Compared to other groups in society.
But as I've watched my trans loved ones come into their own truths, it was as if I went from perceiving only primary colors to a whole rainbow of subtle shades. From seeing...
This is Lena Dunham, by the way.
Flat images to looking at...
I didn't even recognize her.
How is she bigger? She was already so big.
That is a fat woman.
That's crazy.
Wow.
At the world in 4D, and I released so much of the need to define myself against someone else's measuring stick, and I was able to embrace aspects of who I truly was that I had beaten into submission.
So it's still a cunt then.
So she's saying that like meeting trans people made her like accept herself, and it's like as what? As a cow? What is your authentic identity? I'm sorry, but she's huge. Look at the state of her, you guys.
I think she might actually mean sexually because she's sexually degenerate. I think she wrote in a book of hers that she molested her sister.
Yeah,
her younger sister.
There's a story about like putting pebbles in her sister's vagina when they were kids, and then another one about masturbating while her sister was not. I do remember that.
It's just
normal stuff.
Yeah, so I mean that might be what she means. Like, oh, they're sexually degenerate, so am I, or something.
Yeah,
but
maybe she's a
what a train
pedophile.
wreck.
Yeah.
LP, you realize that this is not her final form, right? You get that this is Pokemon. This is Pokemon. This is only like Charmeleon or something. Like fully, like the final form of Lena Dunham is digital, right? It's like it lives forever in the cloud. Like you're not ready.
Yeah, it's like some Lovecraftian horror shit coming, man.
Right.
Yes, the mass immigration is insane, and will lead to the destruction of any country that allows unfettered mass immigration. That country will simply cease to exist. At the end of the day, it is a numbers game, a numbers situation. If there are 8 billion people in the world, and let's say you're a country of 50 million, 60 million, or for a medium-sized country, but even for a country like the United States, which is 350 million, given that there are 8 billion people in the world, it only takes a few % of the rest of the world to move to the country to where it is no longer that country. A country is not its geography. A country is its people. This is a fundamental concept that is truly obvious. I mean, if you took the people of Italy and you teleported the people of Italy to say some part of the United States, it would still be Italy. But if you teleported a bunch of people from some other part of the world to Italy, where they're telling people no longer because they've been teleported to America, then the region, the geographic region, would no longer be Italy. It would be that other country.
This is
the country
painful,
is its
man. Like,
people.
Explaining borders to
not
liberals.
its
Like, this is
geography.
fucking painful.
Just laugh.
Yeah, no, I had to include that. Yeah, the awkward laugh.
What was it that you said?
What was it I said?
No, Jared.
Oh, it's just
it's
painful. It's just painful watching. It's like he's teaching borders to liberals. Like if we took the people from place A and we put them in place B, I can't even believe we're having this. Look, do you buy any of this? Do you think he gives a flying fuck about what people work for him if they're on H-1B visas or whether they're white American? Like, I'm sorry, but there were some key words missing from that little monologue there. White, European, anything with any fucking meaning behind it.
This is exactly the thing. This is exactly the thing. And, he tweeted years ago, it seems like, he said demographics is destiny, right? Which is a very kind of similar idea. But the problem is with people like Elon, if, he's still got a ways to go, because if you were to drill into him, like, well, so like, is America white? He'd be like, no. All the people who are in America now and are citizens, they're all Americans. Like, that's what America is. Yeah. It's a hodgepodge of every single race and culture that's ever existed, all mixed together like that. So there's still, but I like that he said this though, because what he said is true. It's just that
zero lies detected. He's just like,
right.
He's just 20 years behind like the actual discourse that's happening on his own platform, which surprises me a lot. Like, and I don't know why these guys are so scared of saying what that identity is. Like, you want to hint at the identity, great, fantastic, fine. Why can't you say what it is that constitutes an American person? It's a melting pot of what exactly? Of like European diaspora identities. Like, it's, unless you can say that out loud, unless you can say the quiet part out loud, I'm not getting on the bus with you. You know what I mean? I just have to.
Yeah, no, that's well said. And I actually didn't know how to feel about it. I wanted to make a comment, but I had to think about it for a while when I originally saw it on Twitter or X. And yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. But the other thing about Elon is that he always reels you back in, by saying things like this. I mean, just earlier, he like a month or so ago, he was saying almost the complete opposite in a way. So I can't believe him anymore. It's like this is what I want to hear. But yeah, it's that little nuanced detail that you pointed out that is exactly the problem with what he's saying. He's not actually saying the real thing.
Yeah, I think there's two little Elons on his shoulder, and one's like the businessman, billionaire, rich guy who just wants to rule the world, and the other one is like based Elon who's like wants to be a white nationalist, or at least wants the white nationalists to like him, but they're like there's a tug of war going on there. Maybe, I don't know.
LP, just to ask quickly, how woke are you on Adrian Dittmann?
I hate Adrian Dittmann, I guess. I'll say. I don't have a justification to hate him as much as I do. It's not Elon. I think I think the guy's a dork who leaned into everyone thinking he was Elon intentionally for clout. I've listened to a couple of his spaces.
I was convinced for a long time that he was Elon. I've since become convinced that he's not, but I could be swayed, to be honest. I'm on the fence. I don't know.
I was never convinced. Adrian Dittmann is stupid, and I don't think Elon's stupid. When I listen to Adrian Dittmann's spaces, I'm like, this guy can't follow a fucking like basic point for like 10 seconds. He's just genuinely like one of the most unimpressive people I've ever listened to who has clout, and so I never for a second was like, this guy's Elon.
I don't want to get too schizo, but there's a chance that Adrian Dittmann isn't anyone. But
he's an AI program.
Yeah. I don't want to go there, but like whatever. So my point is that like I think through Adrian Dittmann, whether he's Elon or just an ex-employee who, like you say, leaned into it, through his posts, you get more of an idea of what Elon actually believes. Like when he talks about.
That's what I think. That's why I think it's Elon, because he jokes in the same way that Elon jokes, and it seems like if he does kind of sound kind of idiotic in Twitter spaces like you're saying, and I think maybe you're right about that. Maybe it's Elon when he's on a break and he's
on his ketamine or what?
Yeah, he's on his ketamine and he's like, I'm gonna just say whatever the hell I want, and I'm not gonna be like clean cut.
No, the reason he sounds like Elon and the reason all of his opinions seem to mirror Elon's is because he knew people were on this conspiracy theory that he's Elon, and he played into it because it was his like only way of getting people to pay attention to him was them thinking he was the world's richest man instead of some like passport bro living in Fiji or whatever the fuck he actually is.
It kind of worked too, I guess.
It did work, yes.
The only reason I bring him up is because he posted on 4chan. He went on a fucking
I saw that.
Okay, and he was describing Elon as a friend, like far right ethno nationalist, and that's like just weird stuff like that. So I don't know what these guys think they are in private, but.
What was the sign off? Like, "Keck you later, friends."
Right.
That does sound like something Elon would say, but again, I just think this guy wanted everybody to keep thinking he's Elon. That's
no. Wait a second, but aren't there a lot of? Wait, doesn't he try to make himself seem like he's not Adrian Dittmann, or Adrian Dittmann tries to make it seem like he's not Elon?
Well, he'll deny it. If you say to him straight up, like, "Are you Elon?" in a space, people will ask, he'll say no. And they did a space together as well.
You can easily fake that.
You can easily. He could be AI.
Is it that easy? You could do it. I don't know if I'd call it easy.
Kip Boga does stuff like that all the time. Like that YouTuber that trolls like Indians. He talks to himself.
You can do it. You can do it.
Sonora, it's like razor sharp. It will interrupt you while you're speaking at this point. Like it's got, so imagine what they have behind the scenes. I don't know. I don't want to get too conspiratorial and like schizo about it, but the name Dittmann, like Ditto Man, is just the whole fucking thing is weird. Like I watched this one TikTok from like this black Shaniqua, and she was going in on how there was this novel published on Amazon in 2017 where the main character was called Adrian Dittmann, and he was a space engineer or something. Like, there's layers to this shit. I don't want to get too fucking weird about it.
Well, maybe I'll be proven wrong. in the long run.
Just
Well,
go down the
who
rabbit hole
knows?
in your own time. I don't know.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Sure, I'm just
I
saying,
hope I can get out of this.
I'm just trying to make sure I'm positioning for those that are listening out there that I'm not like you and taking a position, but you're obviously in an extremist camp, and it is preventing you from living a life,
a normal life.
a life. A life.
I feel like I have a pretty good life.
You're not going to see people for a week in 2025 because you sat across from the table from me.
Well, because of I was also on an airplane 2 seats
But
away
you're
from
taking
a
your
woman.
magic little spray.
Well, yeah, and I also had an N95 on, but like that doesn't I would like to take all the steps I can
Special
to keep my
mouthwash
kids
as
safe.
well.
Exactly.
Kind of like Mormon underwear.
Yeah, they're my garments essentially. These are my COVID religious garments. So after tree service ended.
So I don't have a whole lot to say to this. It's just like kind of interesting and noteworthy to me that in 2025 there are still people who are totally mind fucked from 2019 or 2020.
Yeah, it's sad.
It is sad.
Yeah, I don't have much to say on it either, other than this Jewish kid, Caleb Hammer, who has this finance show where he like talks about how people fuck their lives up with debt and finances and stuff. This is one of my guilty pleasures watching this kid's show, because I don't know who's doing his booking or who's bringing on the guests, but he has like OF models, just like he finds the most retarded dregs of American society and brings them on. It's like, oh, really? You're $10,000 in debt? Like it's crazy. Like it's fucking nuts. But yeah, the whole thing
he
is a
makes
joke.
fun of them too. It is. You're right. It is a guilty pleasure for me too.
Yeah,
like he's got a
But
good.
yeah, he doesn't
thing
surprise
going.
me. I'm sure there's heaps of guys like this in places like Seattle and places like that, where they still quite convinced that it's a threat and could like it traumatized people. It traumatized normies, a section of normies anyway.
That's right.
The fuck
So after tree service ended.
So I cut this one out before the shooting starts, but this was in Gaza about a month ago. The IDF killed like 15 medics, and then they put out a statement afterwards saying that they didn't have their lights on. They weren't like we couldn't identify them as medics and that. And then somebody found this video on one of the dead people's phones, and then they put it and they were like, well, hold on, their lights were on. They were wearing uniforms, all this kind of thing. And then the IDF was like, oh yeah, that's our bad. They just said, oh yeah, we made a mistake. You're right. The statement we put out was wrong. There was a mistake, and shit happens basically.
They obviously didn't. They obviously did it on purpose. They've done this multiple times. Yeah, I think this is just evidence that, like, I'm not a pro-Palestinian person. I don't like that dichotomy where you have to pick one or the other, obviously. It's a country, or their country's way over there, have nothing to do with America.
Blind to not see that the guy's wearing a red fluorescent uniform. I'm sure this isn't an isolated incident. I'm sure it happens a lot. But there is an interesting thing of like that particular organization has had run-ins with the IDF a lot. There's some deep law reasons about like the Red Cross, why the Red Cross and the IDF might not get along. But like, I guess people were on YouTube, so.
Are they holding a grudge? Are they holding a grudge because the Red Cross went to Auschwitz and said that there was no?
It might be something to do with that, mate. Might be something to do with that. I don't know.
Okay.
This is Orania. Jesus greeted me.
So a little bit of context here. Orania is in South Africa. It is a like whites, well, African canners technically, but basically it's like a white community that they set up. And this guy's like a black YouTuber or something, and he's just going to go visit the whites only.
Everyone's waving. Everyone is waving. Okay, that's confusing.
Are you nervous to go there and be the only black person in Orania?
Nervous is not the word. I think uncomfortable. But everyone has been telling me, stay safe, stay safe. I'm not scared at all. I've been in crazy places before, so I don't feel unsafe, but I feel it's going to be different and uncomfortable. Big cars, Orania flag, doors are just open, no gates. There is a statue of Hendrik Verwoerd, the architect of apartheid. Okay, there's kids. Kids are just walking around. They're kids just walking around. So it's definitely as safe as people think it is. Bicycles is hanging up, not locked.
I love how he
feels
shot by the side of this
It really does feel
children.
different.
Like, and the bicycles aren't locked. Like, whoa, bro, that's crazy.
Interesting.
This just cracks me up. I watched this already on stream, and I said that a bike man can identify an unlocked bicycle from 300 paces while driving past it in a car. They're just like their minds are through years and years of evolutionary pressure. They're really good at identifying unlocked bicycles.
I don't know how I feel about him going there, to be honest. I feel like a bit uncomfortable just the fact that he's going. Isn't the whole point of Orania like it's expressly that these people want to be left alone? It seems antagonistic to go there and stick a camera in people's faces anyway.
Did you see that? I saw a flyer and I posted about it, and I'm pretty sure that it's something that's going to be happening. A bunch of people are going to be going there, like Africans, like Black people are going to be going to the town to like protest it. And I mean, if that's happening or not, I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, on TikTok, they were talking about it, about going in. And so now this kind of scares me seeing this video because, yeah, like you're saying, I mean, this is obviously going to bring a lot of attention to the area and it's going to be unwanted attention. That's for sure.
That's interesting because when I watched it, I said, like, I wonder how they deal with, because you always hear about these farm attacks and everything in South Africa is a very dangerous, very violent place. And I was saying, I don't know how Orania handles those issues, but all I can guess at is that they haven't had to deal with it that much because they're like way out in the boondocks or whatever. Like they're far away from the cities. They bought this like shitty desert land that nobody wanted, was like totally unusable, like the worst land in South Africa. And in the span of like a few years, they turned it into like this oasis, this like literal like almost paradise. I said it's only a matter of time until the barbarians are at the gates. It's almost inevitable in that kind of situation, right? That if you have a nice place and you're surrounded by people who are living in abject poverty, they're going to show up at your door sooner or later. So
I think it says a lot about modern South African society that he's genuinely shocked to see people waving at each other, to see children walking around in the street. Because obviously, like white children aren't safe to walk around in the street in Joburg. So it's not. It's like he's like genuinely mind blown by the idea.
I think he's surprised they're waving at him. And I mentioned this on my stream too, but like people just have like this incorrect idea of like how racists are, right? Like I use that term in the like not derogatory way, like as like people who just want to live amongst their own, you know what I mean? And you think, oh, well, they're hateful. They hate everybody else. And it's like, not really. They're actually probably really like cordial and hospitable. You just can't stay. you can come visit and enjoy the hospitality, but you just can't stay. You know, there's a place like this in America that people go to, YouTubers go to. It's like the most racist town in America or whatever.
Yeah.
And they go there and black guys go there and it's the same thing. Everybody's like nice and cordial and talks to them. Even the people who will like straight up be like, yeah, I don't want to live around black people. They're still like really polite to the black people who come to visit. So it's just kind of like a lot of people can't wrap their head around that because they've just consumed Hollywood propaganda about how the racist white guy is going to like beat the shit out of you if he catches you alone kind of thing. And it's not really like that, right?
Yeah. I remember seeing a Reddit post about North Idaho. And it was some white guy who was asking people on Reddit if it's okay for him to bring his Asian wife up to North Idaho because he's afraid that she'd get like lynched or something. And I'm just reading and I'm thinking, man, does this person not understand Like that's yeah, like you said, it's a stereotype. It's a Hollywood conception. It's not real. But why can't white people just be left alone? Like why does it have to become this dangerous thing? If white people want to separate themselves from others, it doesn't necessarily mean that they want to cause other people harm.
In my experience, the Orania type of white person is actually less racist because they don't have to live alongside diversity and multiculturalism. I don't know about you, but like living in an urban area is actually what made me ethnocentric, shall we say. So like it was like living in a very multicultural and very diverse place made me more. I think if these guys, they don't feel threatened, they're happy, they have a great community, why wouldn't they wave at a black guy in a car? Like it just it's like this mad thing to me that his worldview can't entertain that, you know?
Yeah.
You can feel that this is it's South Africa, but not South Africa.
No, I don't know what that is. What is it?
It's the involuntary celibate stuff. It's the Andrew Tate shite.
Oh.
Fucking hell.
I've heard the boys talking about him.
So speaking of adolescence, this is a little short clip from the show. I haven't watched it. I kind of want to, but I just haven't had a chance yet. Have you seen it, Jord?
Yeah, I watched it. I'm torn as to whether or not to recommend you watch it because it's like, on the one hand, yeah, it's agitprop. It's lefty agitprop and it's a massive waste of time. On the other hand, it's like you should know what they're feeding the normies, and it's well made, man. A lot of money and research and time has gone into like crafting this thing that, you know, with the main cop who's like a hero, who's a black guy, and the villain is like the white guy. They literally race reversed reality and made this like, I don't know, man. So I just want people to be very, very clear about what it is. I know it's been watched in America and in Canada and Australia as well. It's government funded. It's like and that's been proven. You can check out what the work that the Lotus Eaters guys have done on this. This is how do you say, a campaign. This is PR.
Wait, is this from the show about the black kid that they replaced with a white kid?
Yes,
that's the one. Yeah, they said it was inspired by that, but to be honest, it could be inspired by any one of. Just for context, like black people make up 13% of the population of London, and they are responsible for committing 61% of the violent knife crime. And this show centers around the story of a young man who's bullied at school, who everyone calls him an incel because he's young and white and outside of society. And he snaps because, as we all know, young white incels are so dangerous. And he stabs the pretty girl in school. And, you know, it's just every single contrived trope that you could possibly fit into one narrative. And, of course, normal people are eating it up. Like, it's terrible.
That is crazy that they mentioned Andrew Tate in it. Like, they're getting to the point where they're doing like a real character assassination on like the whole movement. Yeah, it's interesting.
Has there ever, any of these violent criminals, has there ever been any like connection made between somebody stabbing somebody in the UK and Andrew Tate? That's not really a thing.
Super funny. There was one incel kid in the UK. There's only been one shooting that I can think of in the UK in the last like 10 years where the kid was actually said like, you know, I'm an incel and I'm doing this for incel reasons, and he was mixed race. Like the whole thing is a joke at this point.
Jord, I have a kind of, some people think this is controversial. I want to hear your take on it as an Englishman.
Shoot.
I like the movie and the TV series This Is England. Is this okay? Am I allowed to like it, or what's the deal there?
Firstly, it's incredible fucking art, and it's one of those things like American Psycho, or like, you know, there's heaps of this stuff where it's created by liberals to kind of say like, oh, don't be like this, and then we kind of see it and we're like, no, actually, I think I'm going to be like that. Like, you know, like it's like a meme, run with that kind of meme. So yeah, no, it's pretty epic, and honestly, there are a few places in England left, very few, but they do exist, where it is still like that. You know, when you come, LP, we'll go for a pint. I'll take you.
All right, sounds good. Although I don't hold your breath, because we were gonna go when I got married. I told I'm Anglo ethnically, right, majority. So I always wanted to go there, and it's like one of my bucket list things. I want to go watch Les Mis in London, and I want to go see Stonehenge and shit like that. And my wife bought us tickets. We were gonna go for like a honeymoon to the UK. And then she got pregnant, and we didn't go because of that. And we were talking about going to Europe really recently, like very seriously, like we're probably going to go, but we're not going to England because it's too much of a shithole now, bro. I'm sorry.
It actually goes to the point where I would love to tell you that you're wrong, but I got back from Rome recently.
That's where we're going. We're going to Italy.
Okay, so Rome's beautiful. 90% Italian, a lot whiter than London, a lot prettier and cleaner than London. No, London's a shithole. The immigrants, there's no economy for immigrants to stay in Rome, so they come through places like Rome and they go to Paris, they go to London or whatever. So no, Rome's lovely, and I would highly recommend visiting. It's sad that I have to say that, but when I came back from Rome, I didn't have much cash left because I'd spent too much money having fun in Rome, and I was like, oh, I'll get the airport terminal bus, you know, whatever that takes you back to the. So I jump on the bus, and I'm sitting opposite these two American ladies, and as we drive into London, they start looking around out the window like they were like double taking, trying to work out if they were actually in Britain or if they'd landed in like Somalia, you know, like, and it was crazy. I'm embarrassed to say at this point that this is my country, man. I have to be honest about it. It's brutal.
Wait, it's like that broken down, like physically? Like
in the urban centers, if you get off at Heathrow Airport, you're looking at a London, as in the capital city, is 30% white British now, 36% white European, 30% or so white British. It's fucked.
Oh man, yeah, it's sad.
So let that be a warning to those of you in America listening.
Yesterday, Israel announced zero tariffs on any American goods. The Trump administration hit them with a 17% tariff anyway, claiming that they had a 33% tariff rate on American goods, which clearly is not true. Why? Because it turns out that we buy more stuff from the Israelis than the Israelis buy from us. Shocker, they're a smaller country. We're a giant market. Not a giant shock, as it turns out.
All right. So the tariff, like these are clips from last week. That's the way we do the show here. And obviously this has been like a very rapidly developing situation with it. And it's also out of my wheelhouse to talk about economics. So I don't really have anything to say about it. But if you guys do, feel free.
I do not.
Just an interesting use of the word "we" there. That was all.
yeah. We're so he's like we, like we're America. Like, come on, bro. I know it's just funny the way he's like, oh, you can't do this to Israel. Hey, we Americans, we love Israel, don't we? Yeah.
Shock, as it turns out.
I'm out here all the time, bro.
Okay, did you guys see this video already or no? Because I shortened it down a lot for the sake of time here.
I don't think no.
Okay, this was like a viral on Twitter confrontation between these guys. I'll just play it and then you tell me what you think.
300 days a year on the motherfucking water.
All right, bro.
Every day, I'm the best charter captain you'll ever meet in your motherfucking life.
All right, bro.
If you cuss me out.
Chill, bro. Chill, bro. Please, bro.
Don't hit the fucking fire.
Please, okay, please, bro. Please, bro. Please, bro. Bro, I'm a kid, bro. Please.
Apologize.
Oh, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, bro.
You're gonna cuss me the fuck out.
All right, bro.
In the middle of the
no, bro. Please, bro. Please, bro.
Back to my boat.
Okay. Please.
Fucking apologize.
I'm sorry, bro.
Whoa, what was going on there?
Okay, so I'll try to give you a little more context here. So the angry guy who came on the other boat, he was saying that the night before he drove under a bridge and somebody like called him a faggot from another boat, and I guess he thought it was this guy. This guy, the guy whose boat gets boarded, the bro guy, he claims that it was another guy who was there, who he's like friends with, but not him. So this guy's friend like called the other guy a faggot the night before. And so this guy comes today, finds him and like boards his boat and scares the shit out of him. And now I'll just leave it there and you tell me what you think about that.
All right, knowing nothing else about it, no other context, I'm pro the guy who boarded the vessel. I think piratical revenge is based. If someone calls me a faggot from a bridge, I'm gonna hunt them down and fucking like commandeer their vessel as well. To be honest,
based. I had the exact same take. I also think anybody who says bro that often deserves to be accosted just on principle. I hate, man, Aiden Ross and its consequences. But we're like very, very minority take here, Jord. Everybody hates the captain. He's been charged with assault, and just everybody on Twitter was like, fuck that guy. He has a criminal record for some other like
really
yeah. So he not a popular take to be pro Captain Brock or whatever his name is, but that was my read as well.
Please, bro. Okay, please.
Fucking apologize.
I'm sorry, bro.
Face a lurch from our young people into Nazi ideology, into anti-Israel hate, into anti-Jewish sentiment, into racism like we have not seen in decades, maybe ever. How do we stop this? I was going to start with a joke. My friend said, tell a Jewish joke. Here's the Jewish joke I picked up on the internet. Maybe you won't get it. I am paid by Israel to make these remarks. I make this joke now because what I want to say is that the values that PragerU is teaching to our children are exactly the solution to this problem. Marissa did not put me up to shilling for your organizations, what the point of the joke was. The values of our country, of our Bible, of our history are exactly what stands between us and the abyss. And we're going to be tested. And we've already lost the chance to insulate ourselves against the first wave of that test. So I implore you to support this organization. I implore you to start having brave, honest conversations. I know people are afraid, and you're wrong to be afraid. It's reasonable to be afraid, and you're wrong. It is time to make a stand. It is time to stand up for the Constitution. It's on my tie. It's time to stand up for the truth. It's time to stand up for truth and goodness, biblical values, and everything that's made America great.
Okay. We have a little tradition here on the channel whenever James Lindsay comes up, so please bear with me 1 minute. Hopefully my guest can hear this. I tried to fiddle with it today, but either way, I just have to do this.
James Lindsay, so bright and wise, spreading thoughts that mesmerize. Let's see what he has to say today. Mr. Lindsay.
Did you guys hear that?
It was hard.
Sweet. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, right off the bat, when I hear James Lindsay, when I hear this guy say our biblical values are defend, it pisses me off. He's an atheist. He went off big time about how like homophobia is like this terrible thing. And, you know, anti-Semitism is terrible. He's like pro pornography. He's like as liberal as they come. And he wants to sit here and talk to me about biblical values.
Can we just sit in the cringe of that joke of I'm paid by Israel?
That was so bad.
Fucking dark. Like what the fuck?
That's not a joke. There's this Jesse Lee Peterson clip that we watched on a show a few episodes ago where Jesse Lee Peterson is like talking to Adam Friedland, and he's like, I want to tell, is it okay if I tell a Jewish joke? And Adam Friedland's like, yeah, go ahead. And Jesse Lee Peterson is like, Jews love money. But even that is way more funnier than James Lindsay just being like, here's a joke, Israel pays me. And then he says the solution to our coming fascist wave is to just show PragerU videos to children. Which, like, are you serious, man? What? Hey, maybe we should teach men not to rape while we're at it, James. You know what I mean? Like this idea that like, oh, we'll just play the right propaganda to the kids and it'll fix society's problems is so facile for a guy who claims to be an intellectual. And also a guy who's like famous for like, getting the word groomer into circulation and getting everybody to use that. Not that like grooming kids to have the right values is inherently wrong or anything. I don't want to act like indoctrinating kids is always wrong. Actually, if you're indoctrinating them in the right things, but it's just kind of ironic that he's like, yeah, we just need to brainwash the kids with PragerU videos and then we'll be fine.
Does anybody actually take him seriously?
I mean, he gets paid a lot to go do these like speaking conferences and stuff like that. He's still got some fans and some supporters and some backers for sure.
Yeah.
But it's been really interesting to watch his sort of his years long crash out, because it's just like been happening in slow motion for years, you know.
I want to clarify something right off the start, because I've already heard some rumors and some gossip. This was not a race thing, and this is not a political thing. Please do not comment if you do not know what happened. Do not turn this into a racial thing. It was not. Do not politicize this. It's not. This is a human being thing.
Yeah, sad. I remember watching that or a portion of it and just knowing what was coming, and I just like left the video, and then sure enough, yeah, now we're looking at this. Why does that always have to happen? Why can't there just be one white parent that is enraged by the fact that their kid was involved in like a racial attack?
For real.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just why?
I don't want to. How deep do you guys think this goes? You think before he goes on Fox, he gets sat down by like, you know, the PR person, and they say, "Look, we're not allowed to you know," or you think he's genuinely just at what part of America did this happen in again? Remind me.
This is in Texas, not Austin, Frisco, Texas. Obviously, that's a real possibility. There's even like deeper possibility. Like a lot of people think that there is this like civil rights branch of the FBI who sends like an envoy to your home and tells you to like preps you to make these kinds of statements basically when there's a racially charged murder. So these are like guys who are like, get out in front of it and make sure that we don't stoke racial tensions because a black kid killed a white kid kind of thing. We don't know for sure that happened in this case. There was some evidence of that happening in other cases, and it is very suspicious the way they always do this. These white parents, they always call for peace and understanding and forgiveness and everything else. And it's like, dude, obviously it's a fucking racial issue, bro. If a black kid killed another black kid, nobody would even know their names. Nobody would hear about it. It'd just be another day in Nigga Town, you know?
I mean, this one's even made it over here, you know, we're like, and it plays right into the hands of just like, oh yeah, really, it's kind of crazy how it's been painted in the liberal media as like, look how they're making it racial when there's zero racial element to it whatsoever. Like some people, it boggles my mind that some people do look at this through a lens that isn't racial at all. Like it doesn't factor in. But I guess that's the state we're in. I don't know about Texas. I don't know what percentage of the people there would be on what side of what, but terrifying. Like terrifying that someone's media bubble can fuck them up that bad.
Yeah, and this whole story, this whole murder is like, there's so much we could get into. The black people have been putting out so much propaganda about how like this kid was actually a saint. Now they're saying he like saved a white girl from drowning in his youth. like the shit they've come up with. And they like his fundraiser, the Black Kids, has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. But that's also very weird because when you look at the people donating and the messages, it's like bots. It's like there's all these bots donating all this money to this kid who just literally just committed murder by stabbing another guy in the heart. So I don't even, you know, it's still developing. So we don't need to like pretend like we know everything that's going on, but it's a very strange situation.
I made a post about the kid that died, and it was interesting. I had this black person post a Studio Ghibli of the white kid and the black kid, and was like making fun of the fact that the white kid had died. And when I reposted it, it was interesting to see that it was getting tweeted. What I said was, I posted the picture and said something like, Black people are not our friends. And what was fascinating about it is that it wasn't just getting reposted and retweeted or whatever by white people, but also simultaneously by Black people.
Oof.
Like, I'm kind of curious what the number would have been, but I thought, oh yeah, white people will retweet this. But it got massive numbers, and a lot of them were Blacks. So Blacks actually think that the Black kid was innocent. Like a massive majority of them,
they're massively rallied behind you. I mean, they rallied behind O.J. Simpson, who everybody knows wasn't innocent. It's not that they think he's innocent. They are just so team
That's
Black.
their guy.
Yeah, exactly. It almost makes you jealous as a white person. Where you're like, man,
tribal as fuck. Yeah, I wish we could get like that. Just like you just blindly ignore the truth in favor of like our guys sometimes, because that's like what you have to do. I feel like ignorance really is bliss, you know. Fuck.
Politicize this. It's not. This is a human being thing.
All of my friends who have kids are in hell. I don't know anyone. I actually don't know anyone who's like happy and has children at this age. I have like a 1-year-old, like 3-year-old, 4 and under, 5 and under. I literally have not met anyone who's happy, anyone who has like light in their eyes, anyone who has slept.
Okay. Does anybody know who this chick is?
No, I saw on the timeline, and she is weird looking.
She's a pop star.
She is. I think I saw her on like one of those. They do those YouTube videos where they put concerts on in the library. What are those things called? I swear I saw her on one of those because I always get recommended.
You know what? I think I saw her in one of those too.
Yeah, she had like face paint on.
Yeah, it was like a green outfit. It was like.
Yeah, kind of like dragish or whatever. I don't know who she is, but that I hate that. I hate that take. Who do these people even know people with kids when they say that? Like is it just cope? Is this just childless cope?
Like, she's just perceiving them as not being happy because they're struggling. You know, they're making a sacrifice for their children, so obviously they're going to be tired and whatnot. But who's to say that they're not happy to suffer to take care of their children? Like, that's such a weird negative assumption for her to make.
Yeah, I agree. She has kind of dead eyes anyway herself, which is kind of crazy that she's like projecting that onto other people. Like, oh, they look so soulless and tired. It's like, I mean, fuck.
Yeah,
newsflash. It takes energy to like raise children. It takes commitment to raise children. I just think this is really. I mean, obviously, of course, it's Call Her Daddy, right? Like the feminist podcast, of course, it is. Yeah. This is just really fucking sad that this is like a majority message that people seem to have picked up along the way. And you can see that in the natal rates, right? Like you see that in the childlessness. It's cool to not have kids, I guess, still, which I think as much as we're the counterculture and there is a bit of pushback like against that, I think for the mainstream normie, it is still uncool to have a family and to have kids. And that's depressing.
What a sad development for women, because once you hit past a certain age and you don't have children, like, what is your life? Like, the thing that gives you meaning and purpose is having a baby.
For men too, like, of course, for women more because it's your biological imperative. But like, as a guy who is in their like early 30s and didn't prioritize like settling down and finding a girl and stuff, I can actively say that I made a mistake in that. Like, it's like you're like. And we love to talk about the wall and like female biology and female body clock. And yeah, that's very real. That's very real. But people don't talk about the fact that like as a man, I think it's over 40, you start having kids, they start being retarded. Like it's not healthy to have a kid.
Yeah, you're right.
Man.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And people need to be like minded to this stuff because I was a result of this like anti-natalism bullshit. I grew up like kind of like the world's overpopulated, it's polluted, it's bad. The worst thing you can do as a white person is have kids. And I kind of ate that up until I was old enough and smart enough to see through it. I think kids now who are already like Zoomer kids who see through it innately, if they want to have kids, like just a reminder to them that they should get a fucking move on and have them in their 20s, you know, realistically.
Yeah, definitely. Well said.
True. Well, I will say I got married at 38 and we've had 2 kids since, and I'm in my 40s.
I don't want you to think I was calling your kids retarded by any
Well,
chance. My parents are also older. I'm just saying it's
they are kind of retarded. No, I'm joking. They're amazing. I'm just saying that, Jord, to let you know that it may not be too late for you, brother.
Oh, thank you, man.
And
I
also,
appreciate it.
but I do if I have a regret, it's the idea of thinking like I may not get to meet my grandkids because I'm too behind the clock. You know.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of sad to think about.
Yeah, hopefully.
Just stay healthy.
That's what I do. I like really take my health seriously. It's so funny because when I was young, I had no interest in living a long life, and then when you have kids, you're like, oh man, I want to live as long as I can, get to see as much of this as I can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Slept.
Anti-Semitism is not just an age-old prejudice. It is a contemporary crisis manifesting on campuses across the nation. It is not enough for individuals or institutions to merely claim they are not anti-Semitic. As my father once taught me, it is not enough for people, especially public figures, to be neutral or not be anti-Semitic. One must be anti-Semitic. We must demand the same of our universities and government institutions. This hearing, in my opinion, is an attempt to be just that.
Yeah, so this is like a congressional hearing on anti-Semitism, which, why is that happening? Why do they always get so much special treatment and attention? RFK's tweeting about how we gotta, it's a health crisis, the anti-Semitism. They're passing laws about anti-Semitism in Florida and the whole college campus deportation thing. So much of our politics revolve around Jews, who are a tiny minority of the country.
Oh, but they don't control the world.
No. And I know it doesn't need to be said, but that's obviously straight out of the anti-racist BLM playbook. It's not enough to not be anti-Semitic. You can't just not hate us. You have to hate the people who hate us, basically. Otherwise, you're not doing enough. And it's like, I don't have to do anything for you, bro.
Anti-Semitic.
مع جاكسون هينكل الناشط الأمريكي المعارض. Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Okay. I really
context, please. Context, please. What the fuck?
So okay. You know who Jackson Hinkle is, right?
Until I saw this, I didn't like Jackson Hinkle. Now I am a Jackson Hinkle supremacist. Now it's like Jackson of Arabia.
Yes, he went to Yemen, and the only reason I wanted to include this tip is because I saw this tweet. I think it was Richard Spencer. It was so funny. Richard Spencer tweeted out, quote tweeted this clip, and he said something like, you have to admit it takes kind of balls to put yourself forward as the next Paul Atreides or whatever, the savior of the sand people.
God behind him, holy shit.
Yeah, I guess that is kind of pimp. I see what you're saying, but I mean, he's still an idiot. The guy.
he's
fully retarded. But there is something unfathomably based about the idea of just a white guy leading the third world hordes. This is how Islam started. This is what Muhammad looked like in the medieval times.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Palestine! Free Palestine!
I'm selling it because I need to make up for the 60% cut that Elon made to our son's child support.
Why do you think that he did that?
That's a great question for him.
You feel like he was sort of vindictive against you in some way?
Yeah, that's his modus operandi when women speak out.
When was the last time that you spoke to him or tried to speak to him?
February 13th.
But he's just not responding to you at all. And how would you characterize sort of the way that he's going about
You can check the stocks. I am. I'm not the only one
Who
who's
owns it?
cleaning up after his messes.
We're not going to get you.
February 13th, the day before Valentine's Day. So obviously she
Ooh.
was butthurt that that he was hanging out with the prettier Jewish girl that he's always with.
Yeah,
Isn't that like a thing?
Javon Zillis or whatever it is. And it was February 14th was the day that Ashley tweeted out her announcement to the world that, yes, I have a son with Elon. Please respect our privacy. I'm about to embark on like a media tour talking about this, but please respect our privacy.
I saw that one coming from a mile away. It was like a year ago. I was, in her comment section on X making fun of her, and I was like taking screenshots because she was so obviously trying to get like up to Elon Musk, and he was liking all of her tweets. I remember one time checking Elon's likes because I was like, I wonder, who he's following and stuff like that. And he liked all of her tweets, and I was like, wait a second, she's not very interesting. What's going on here? And
that's why he made the likes private. He doesn't want people up in his business knowing which chick he's trying to reel in next.
Yeah. So I knew that, man, she's really fake. And I don't know how he didn't realize, like, what is he doing? Is she that hot? Like, I mean, she's cute.
To give you like an objective male opinion, I do find her very attractive. I think she's like a beautiful mid.
Well, Jord, have you checked the side profile?
Well, yes, he did the thing, right? Ash key, right? So, like, I don't know, but like, my thing is, I just think Elon, for a guy of his stature and of his wealth, he has a horrific taste in women, like Grimes and like all these fucking. It's like Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is a guy who like prides himself on getting loads of pussy, and he's always surrounded by like bimbo plastic women. That, like, I don't understand it.
Maybe it's because they can't actually get the women that they want. Like a Victoria's Secret model that's like gorgeous, genetic, hit the genetic lottery. She's already a millionaire. Why would she want to be? She wants to be with like another like an athlete or something. I don't know. But then I think it was Gavin McInnes. He said something like, once you become billionaire status, man wants like art hoe or like something kind of like
different,
with like an edge.
Yeah.
But it's like the millionaire that has like the actually like genetically like the hot blonde woman that everybody wants. It's interesting, but yeah, billionaires, they need to like have like something special and weird. It's like having an exotic dog.
He's not a normal guy, is he? Let's be honest. He's not like a normal guy. He's not going to have a normal taste in women, I guess. But I don't know. I just would have expected him to have like classier or more of a high caliber, type, I guess. But hey, I mean, each to their own.
Grimes is actually interesting. So I kind of get that one. But Ashley St. Clair just like totally made his whole harem of women look like complete trash. It's like Jerry Springer mode now. I would like, who would want to be part of that?
Yeah. And after this video came out, Elon had tweeted in response that he's paying her $500K a year in child support, which is less than she had been getting before she started stirring the pot. So he kind of was punishing her a little bit. And then, but like, let's be honest, she doesn't need to sell her Tesla. This is just like another attention stunt from her to like, because she's mad because he cut back her payments to, a measly $42K a month or whatever. So
yeah, she's not hot enough to be this crazy. Like, she should be hot.
Right. Yeah. Something I think is interesting is that like she is extremely unpopular on Twitter now, and she's basically quit the platform. Like she doesn't really tweet. And, but when I see everybody talking about her, even like all the normal sort of Con Inc. type people they're like a close knit circle of, they're grifters. The guys who like, will congratulate Dave Rubin for, having, buying a son or whatever, like those types. They all hate Ashley now. So
they were right there. Like when she announced.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. So, a child out of wedlock. Yeah. So great. Yeah. But, no, not anymore. No, she's lost all her support as far as I can tell.
she really messed up because what she wanted was status, not just money, clearly. And that's, I think, a part of the reason why she was mad maybe at him for not spending time with her or something. Why didn't she just keep her mouth shut? Like, if that's what you want, if you're interested in that, then like cut your losses. Like, you're really not that great. You know, just suck it up. And because now she has nothing. Like, how low IQ is that? Like, if you're gonna do that.
Well, I mean, she
It's
doesn't have
crazy.
nothing exactly, but she did. Yeah, she fucked up her
But I think
reputation
the
a
thing she
lot.
wanted
Yeah.
was that like notoriety, and like she completely ruined her image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, listen, we are coming up on 2 hours. Are you guys okay for time? Because we have a few super chats, not a lot, but we do have a few. But I've also got a couple more clips, so I can go straight to the super chats if you guys want to leave, or we can give it like another 10 minutes to finish these clips. What do you guys? How are you feeling?
I'm cool.
Ready to go?
Crack on.
All right.
Oh, good.
Yes, I am the mother
Oh, this is actually the last clip, I'm sure, but it's just kind of a long one.
whose daughter was invited to Disneyland by her dad's side of the family, and I am not allowing her to go unless the rest of the kids are invited. I have 6 kids total, so she has 5 sisters and brothers, ranging from 15 to 1. I am not going to allow one child to go to Disneyland. Every kid's dream is Disneyland. How would you feel as a child if you had sisters and brothers and one of your sisters
just pause
was
it a
invited
second?
to Disneyland?
Yeah.
You were watching them pack.
I'm just gonna guess the one child who gets to go to Disneyland is the biological child of the dad, right? And the other 5 are.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's
Okay.
that's a given. I thought.
Okay. Yeah.
but
Right.
That's
Okay.
that's correct. Yeah.
You were watching them shop.
And the other 5 are mulatto. No, I don't know. That's a joke. We don't know what the kids.
You know, for clothes for the trip. You were watching her leave for Disneyland with her Mickey Mouse ears. You would feel horrible, wouldn't you? Yes, I'm not going to allow one of my children to go to Disneyland if the other 5 can't go. No, he is not their biological father, but he was their stepfather at one time. And I have already offered to pay for half. I've already offered to pay for half. He just has to take them along with him. There's a bunch of adults going. There's no reason why they can't take 5 more kids.
Are we team dad or team mom here?
You know how much it
I mean,
costs?
I get him.
Disneyland, like you know how much it costs to take 5 mulatto kids to Disneyland for the weekend? Like, fuck me, man. I don't know.
Well, I don't know, because if you become a part of a family unit like that, you're kind of signing up to be their. I mean, the whole thing where 2 families come together is just so horrifying.
So I've noticed that women often have a very different take on this subject, and I think there's very good like biological and evolutionary reasons for that. But I think of the stepdad as an archetype, not as an individual. If I meet a guy and I find out he's a stepdad, I don't judge him. Like, you fall in love with a woman, she has kids, okay, so be it. But as an archetype, I can't help but think a little bit less of that man for stepping in and raising somebody else's children. I don't know if LP is going to agree with me. I think it's just a biological, instinctive thing. Women do not seem to have this problem or this issue or this hang up. Just saying.
I don't like to judge people because it's so hard to like find a family and that, but I'll say no guy wants to be a stepdad, really. Generally speaking, right?
Yeah.
Like that's like something you take on because it's your best option, kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because you really love the woman or whatever. But yeah.
What if she's making some sort of sacrifice for him? Well, I guess she's the one with all of the kids that are not his. So I guess that kind of makes sense. But I guess what I'm saying is, if she is putting in a massive effort for him and his family and his daughter and stuff like that, I guess maybe she would kind of feel like it wouldn't be reciprocal. But I think it's just too nuanced. Like his position would make sense because why shouldn't he be allowed to just take his
you
own
have to pick
daughter?
a side. None of this fence sitting bullshit here. Gifts. I'm team dad all the way. So first of all, the amount of like she said something about there's a bunch of adults going. It's like it does like 5 kids is a massive burden. Like you take that on. Your whole trip now is just trying to wrangle these kids. That's it. And dealing with all the, the whining and all these things, which is like, it takes enough patience when it's your own kids busting your balls.
I think I know what it is.
Okay.
That's right. And that makes sense. But there would be backlash no matter what. Like someone's going to get butthurt. Like by him doing that because of the situation he got himself into, there's like no way that they're not going to be butthurt by that.
By not
if
go,
they're like,
you mean the kids who don't go? Like this is the mom's argument. If the kids who don't get to go, they're going to be jealous. Yeah, but guess what? Now the one kid who was going to get to go is not going, and she's going to be butthurt. So somebody's always going to be butthurt. I mean, it's kind of like the trolley problem. Is it's better to have one butthurt kid than 5 butthurt kids or whatever. But I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right to.
Is a part of the video what she was saying is that he shouldn't be able to go at all with the little girl? Because that's bullcrap.
Yeah, no. If he doesn't take the other kids, she's not going to let him take his daughter, his actual daughter.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's obviously retarded.
Thank you.
Team dad in the end.
All right. Team dad.
Can we all at least agree that the sexual marketplace must be fucked if this woman has 2 different kids by 2 different men? Can we agree on that at least? Like, holy shit.
I mean, if she has 5 kids, maybe she was better looking at some point, but
I don't know, man. Usually you can tell. I don't know.
All right. We got just a few Rumble rants, it looks like. Let me take a look here. Actually, several Rumble rants. Rumble really came through. Hey, there's 100 people on Rumble and 250 on YouTube, and all the super chats are from Rumble. What's going on, YouTube guys? Let's see here. Shift Demeanor sent $5. He says, porn has been proven to increase anxiety, depression, as explained through The Porn Myth by Matt Frad. I have seen some stuff like that. There's a lot of like pro porn science out there too, unfortunately, which I think is because it's like $1 trillion industry. So they fund a lot of that stuff. But I think that it's my personal preference is to just focus on the moral angle more than the pragmatic sort of like this is bad for you angle, because that's more contentious, I guess, with the science. But I don't know. Do you guys think anything about
the ED thing is real? I've heard enough that I can like tangibly say, and I mean from like firsthand, I've heard from people directly. They say I started watching porn when I was 11. Now I have a hard time getting it up. It's like that's a real thing. That's like a biological thing. So and I think that's scary for young men, right? Like no young man wants to think that like it's the reason I started smoking cigarettes less, right? Because I don't want to have like it doesn't bother me that I might die of some brain tumor, but the idea that I might not be able to get an erection, that's kind of like emasculating. So if you tell young men that porn is actually gonna negatively affect them,
that is a nightmare. That is a man's nightmare. You're right.
Right. So and that is, as far as I'm aware, that's empirically proven. You watch more porn, you're more likely to not get it up.
I believe. I mean, I've heard a lot of things. I've heard it lowers your testosterone. I've heard depression, anxiety, like a lot of stuff like that. So it's probably better to just not do it, guys. Ghost Dogman sent $10. He said, for the based lass. Well, you got a fan, gifts. Decimal Threat sent $5. God's Work LP. Thank you, sir, for the support. Red Pilled sent $20. He says, always great content. Thank you for that. Did he do that twice, or is my scroll? I don't know. He might have done that twice. Decimal Threat sent $5. The ladies with mixed race kids are bitter that their bad decisions aren't accepted by men who care about lineage. I mean, I think that's true. I'm not sure what clip that was in reference to or what we were talking
Yeah,
about.
same.
But I think that's probably just true thing. Yeah. Yeah, nobody wants to be a stepdad, and nobody wants to be a stepdad to a kid who's a different race. Like that just
doubly is bad. Yeah, I don't know how it is.
Ghost Dog Man sent $5. Always refreshing to hear from Jordan again. 07.
No.
Thank you. And then Ghost Dog Man sent $1 and he said, "LOL Jord." And let's double check everything here. Odyssey lost Stripe in the last day, so we can't make money on Odyssey anymore. Okay, I think that's it. I think that's everything. I'm sorry if I missed you, but I think I got them all. So that's the show then for today. Big thank you to my guests, especially Gifts, for coming in on such short notice. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
I put links to your guys' Twitter accounts and YouTube channels in the description for everybody. Again, I'll urge you to check out both of their YouTube channels. These guys make thought-provoking videos that I personally enjoy. And but is there anything else you guys want to plug or let people know about?
No, that's it. Thanks for having me on, man. And hopefully everyone's having a good April in the chat.
Yeah, thanks, same. This was actually a lot of fun. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, guys. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Thanks to everybody who sent in the super chats. We appreciate the support. You guys have a great day, and we will catch you next time. Peace out.